Alright, hey, how are you? I hope you're doing good. Yeah, okay, so I was gonna do this video tomorrow, but you know, it's nothing like the present, right? Yeah, okay, so I was sitting here and I was watching a couple of videos. You know, it really takes me to get in the right mood to watch videos anymore because there's so much bullshit out there. You know, it's like you really gotta siphon through the stuff if you're not just watching current news. It's kind of like a lot of these people talk a lot of this Jesus stuff, you know, and they'll research a lot of things until it's dead. But the one thing that they won't research is things that have to do with their faith. Now that's what really gets me. A girl cheats on you, you will follow her for a month and a half until you're arrested. A guy cheats on you, you'll go and tell every girl that he's just evil, and you'll do a lot to hunt down the truth in your relationships. You'll do a lot to hunt down a coupon. But it's kind of funny how nobody does shit to have to do with their faith. Nobody does anything that's considered research to do with their faith. I made a series before, Know Who or Know What You're Worshipping, and we covered some of the main topics, the Allah, the Jesus, different things or different entities. You know, and it's kind of sad because people act like I get a bunch of shit out of this, and I really don't. I get some highlights, you know, when I see people grow. When a guy asked me about the name of the image of Montezuma in color, and I knew the answer. It's Arnoldus Montanus Montezuma, and that made me feel good because he was searching, and immediately when he was able to communicate with me, that's what he asked. Like, it was right on the. He was been waiting for some time to find that out, you know, and that's kind of cool, you know, because again, this is the Negro image of Montezuma. We've always been shown these Mexican images and things of that nature. And again, I respectfully ask anybody to show me the Mexican 700 years ago, 600 years ago. When we go into this hidden history, when the arrival of the Spaniards, that's when the Mexican history starts. Okay, so I'm not trying to offend anybody. What has happened has happened. Now, I have nothing against Mexican people, but I'm not going to sit there and call Mexican people my brother or my cousin because of what occurred. What occurred was very close to genocide. We're not happily related or anything of that nature. There's no evidence of your existence 1,000 years prior. And there's no evidence of willful sexual relations to produce. So, I've already had 2 things that I wanted to show you. And then I was listening to this guy in this video, and he just kept talking this Jesus shit, you know, and he put something up on the screen, and I'm going to show it all to you. He put something up on the screen, and when he did this, it's like he doesn't even understand when he stepped in shit. There's poop on your shoe, and you are now tracking it in my carpet. And this is why you have to watch what comes into your home. Alright, now, I happen to be on Facebook, and I just stumbled upon this. Somebody popped my name into one of those little lines, and so I get the link. Okay, I had to. I'm sorry. I just, sometimes because of the vaccines, there are things going on in my head that I just have to do. And usually I just listen to a bunch of music before I do one of these, you know, to get all that shit kind of like out of me and stuff. But I didn't do that today. Actually, I haven't been doing that for a while. So I've just been keeping myself contained. And that containment, that vessel is, there's a crack in the vessel. So I so can't contain myself anymore. Yes. What you've been seeing over the years is contained me. Now, I'm just a little edgy. You want to give me more vaccines, do you? You want to run a modern Tuskegee experiment on me, do you? Alright, so here's something that came up, and we'll look at this, and this is the authorship of the New Testament books, Flavius Josephus, who is Calpurnius Piso. Okay? I've always told you about the Piso family. I told you you can go to Google, and when on Google, you can type in Piso, right? And then go to images and watch this. This is how you gotta outsmart history, right? This is what they show you, ceramic tile, right? And you put coins. Okay? So the Piso family has always been on coins, right? In the Philippines now, right? Watch this. Let's see if we go ancient. Piso family. Ancient coins. Look, you got L. Ignore the L. P-I-S-O. And these are the initials of his first name, right? This is, image is loading, L. Calpurnius Piso Frugri Horseman, ancient Roman Republican. That's Paul. Do you see his nose? Do you see his braids? You never know what I'm going to show you, do you? Hell, I don't even know what I'm going to show you sometimes. They don't want you to know this is Paul. This is the guy that wrote the New Testament. This is the guy that wrote the New Testament. Here. The authorship of the New Testament books, let God be true, but every man a liar. Romans 3 and 4. The main authors of the New Testament books are Arius. Oops. Pew, 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 pew. Well, getting out of hand, man. Arius Calpurnius Piso, who is also a.k.a. Josephus, Flavius Josephus, Calpurnius Piso, Arius Calpurnius Piso, Josephus, Flavius Josephus. His son, Flavius Justus, his granddaughter's husband, Pliny the Younger, and his son, Julius. Okay, so do you understand? Pliny the Younger and Pliny the Older are not related. Pliny the Younger is the granddaughter's husband. Pliny the Younger married Paul's granddaughter. Paul said, put your women aside, but he sure did knock his woman up and keep his bloodline going. Following is a list of actual authors. You can historically prove this. Following is a list of actual authorship of each of the books of the New Testament and when they came out. Now listen, the original Mark. If they put the fucking word original there, that means you're not reading the original anymore. It came out in 60 CE. The actual author, Lucius Calpurnius Piso. Do you get that? The book of Matthew. Lucius Calpurnius Piso. The present Mark. So the original, you can no longer read. The present book of Mark came out in 75. It took 5 years, approximately written, 75 to 80. The Matthew, 70 to 75. Mark, the present book, 75 to 80 CE. Right? 80 years after the dragon fell. Lucius Calpurnius Piso. So in 60 he writes, 10 years later, 15 years later, finishes publishing, writes Mark, Matthew, and then redrafts the book of Mark. The book of Luke, the genealogy that differs from the book of Matthew. Arius Calpurnius Piso writes, with Pliny's help. Why didn't Arius Calpurnius Piso write the book of Matthew or Mark? Because his dad, or his brother, I think it's his dad. Because his dad wrote it. And don't say who Lucius is. But if you go and check out, you just type in Lucius. Calpurnius Piso. Right? Who is Lucius? Infamous people, dude. Look at this. One consul, father-in-law of Julius Caesar. Ooh! 58 BC. Could this be the same guy? A Roman statesman. Father-in-law to his daughter, Calpurnia Piason. Also had a son, Lucius Calpurnius Piso, known as the Pontifex. Where do we know that type of shit from, huh? This is the beginning of the Catholic Church, before they even said, hey, let's form a church. How do they keep the name Pontifex? Before it's even used in the Catholic Church. You never know what you're going to learn here. I don't even know. Here's reportedly the follower of a school of epic Urianism, which is modified to benefit politicians. Is favored withdraw from politics, whatever. So, here, let's find the one that's related to Calpurnius, Arius. So we'll just go back here, and we'll just type in Arius. Alright, Arius Calpurnius Piso. Alright. So he's listed as Gaius. Right? So when you type him in, here comes all the Josephus pictures. So we got the right guy. Right? Now look, just typing in that name, the Piso family in the story of the Bible. This is not that hard to find. All you need is one name. Don't nobody give a shit. I'm too satisfied with my worship of Christ. Too satisfied. Look, same person. That's Arius. The Piaison conspiracy. And what was Lucius's wife or whatever? Look, his daughter. Father-in-law of Julius Caesar through daughter Calpurnia Piaison. Same family. Piaison. Same family. Now, what a great intro. Now this movie means so much more. Now watch this. The Acts of the Apostles, chapter 1 through 15, is written by Arius Calpurnius Piso with Justus, his son's help. 16 and 17 by Justus himself. 18 through 28, some of Justus, some by Pliny. Romans, the book of Romans is Proculius Calpurnius Piso. Brother or cousin? Corinthians, Galatians, Ephesians, written by Pliny. 2 Corinthians and Ephesians, written by Justus. So look, Ephesians went so far by the year 100, and then what? Justus picked up the continuation of Ephesians, continued it a little further, instead of making it 2 Corinthians. Now, how did they know to make some books first and some books second? But you see, they split right there, Ephesians, but they ain't make 1 and 2. Some of you guys live by these books. Colossians, Justus with his son Julianus. 1 Timothy, Pliny. 2 Timothy, Justus. The book of Titus. All hail Titus, Emperor Titus, the emperor that destroyed the temple of Jerusalem. All hail Titus, right? Written by Pliny the Younger. Look how much shit Paul didn't even write. Paul's family wrote. Paul's children and what? Grandson-in-law or son-in-law? His son, his granddaughter's husband. His grandson-in-law. 1st and 2nd Peter, Procurius. Book of James by Justus. These are the acts of James, in the words of James, because my father fought against him and killed him. Book of Hebrews. Nobody knows the author of Hebrews. Yeah, they do. Flavius Arius, who goes by Arian, aka Appian, younger grandson of Piso, by Claudia Phoebe, or Phoebe. You can look up any of these names. You're gonna find the Roman existence of them as being what? Statesmen, law writers. Now, why is any of this important? Well, we'd have to go to this video now. Now, this is going to be kind of funny because people don't give a shit about doing any kind of research.
This is Capul Piso. I'm here in Rome.
Now, get this. This dude's last name is Piso. This is like Piso's great-great-grandson or something like that. No, it'd be like it'd be like what, 40 generations later, if they're related, right? 2,000 years. Watch.
This is Capun Piso.
Capun Piso.
I'm here in Rome.
Capun Piso. Can you believe his last name's Piso? Watch this.
This is Capun Piso. I'm here in Rome. In the Museum della Civiltà Romana. I'm attempting to educate Christians. So, this very deluded, retarded people.
Now, a lot of people in the quote-unquote old world call Christians retarded, or people that can't think for themselves. Now listen. Every one of us has already been injected with different vaccines at birth. Don't think you're above this shit. Now, the place that he's at is a museum of Rome. Now, he names the place in Italian, and I don't know the name of the place, but he'll describe it as he goes. I got to keep rewinding this because I love this. I've told you so many times. You act like you want to be children and you have to be told in a special way. Well, that's retarded. That is you retarding yourselves. You are making yourselves mentally challenged. You're not. It's easy for any man to sit and listen. You choose not to. Here we go.
This is Capun Piso. I'm here in Rome, in the Museum della Civiltà Romana. I'm attempting to educate Christians. So this very deluded, retarded people can understand where their Christus comes from.
You listen, he says, people that accept beliefs from the 4th century as true today are deluded and retarded. Now listen, I agree with that statement because if you took the time to research, you'll find out you're under the greatest treachery of all. This has to deal with your soul. You believe in Jesus because of... When people said fairy tales, I was like, dude, shut the fuck up. Really? These are pagan tales. Real people lived and died, and they paganized each of them and created one entity. It is literally the god of war. If you do not think it's the god of war, Rome's known for war. If you do not think it's the god of war... Look, Jesus is not some Hebrew that died on some cross. He's a Roman... How do you say this? Plan to trick the recently enslaved people to take their ass back to work.
It was nothing more than Julius Caesar, and all Christianity originated from the cult and the different cults of Rome.
Now, he's saying Rome's version of Serapis Christus. Alright? Now, if you don't know what Serapis Christus is, it's your fault. Sir Rape. I like how rape is writing his Rapis Christ us. It's actually Christus, and then it was Christus, and then it was Christos, and then it was Jesus. And it's just as Serapis. And in 300, in the 3rd century BC, this was introduced by Ptolemy. Hence it looked like a Greek, talked like a Greek, and ruled over the Egyptian. Now, this was no entity that actually lived. They were told it's the Son of God. That's way before your Christ came about. 3rd century BC. Cultus Serapis was introduced in the 3rd century BC on the orders of Ptolemy I in Egypt, when he conquered Egypt, as a means to unify the Greek and Egyptians in his realm, to have them all worship one God. One God means unity. Your black ass and their white ass living next to each other can only be so under the bullshit of Christ. I killed your ancestors, I took your land, forgive me. I put you in a system and you live in a continuous torment and I pretend it doesn't exist. Forgive me. I get loans, I get leases, I get jobs, and you get to continuously scrape on the bottom. Forgive me. So, this was introduced. What is it? It's a hierarchical system. It was introduced onto the Egyptians by the Greeks at 300 BC. The god was depicted as Greek in appearance but with Egyptian taperings. The combined image, right? Iconograph from a great many cults. So this was designed to reach many different gods or worshippers of different gods, right? This is why the Creator says no images, no graven images, signifying both abundance and resurrection, right? The abundance of the Greeks stealing through war, and the resurrecting belief of what? The Egyptians, right? A serapum, a temple, or religious precinct devoted to Serapis. The cultus of Serapis was spread as a matter of deliberate policy. Did the Catholics spread Christianity with the Dum Diversus 1452? Spread as a matter of deliberate policy by Ptolemaic kings, who also built an immense Serapum in Alexandria. They built a huge temple there, right? So, you gotta understand, all this pagan shit is just repackaged for us. And the whole Jesus thing just stuck. Or Eosis, Zeus. It just stuck. But that's why it's the Son of God, right? They sit there and say Zeus is the son of what? Kronos, right? And cuts Kronos open to free his brothers, right? So Zeus can't be the creator, right? Something created Zeus, so it's the sun. See, so it's sun worship. It's the worship of the wire. Not what the wire plugs into, not the source, but the Zeus, the energy running through it. Alright, so let's look at this again.
And the Pax Romana of the Emperor Son of God, Augustus, lasted for 200 years. Crucifixion never happened. Crucifixion was never a form of torture. It always represented the Son of God. That's what they...
Crucifixion was a mistranslation of the word cremation, to burn. In Greek, kremo is to impale or palisade.
Cross and the swastika represents, mutated in 325 by the criminal Constantine. This is a very good example. You see here, these are cast of the column of the Emperor Trajan. Okay, like
he says, look, if there was a place to show crucifixion as punishment, this would be it. And in there is none. So they have casts of all the reliefs, especially the pillars. Alright? And this shows all their victories and how they punish people. And what he's saying, there is no depiction from the Romans themselves of them ever crucifying anybody. In reality, crucifixion is something that Hebrews did. No other nation.
Of the Emperor Trajan. Okay, like about first century, about 105 CE. Guess what? There's not one single...
Trajan a Christus, Christus was fighting the Dacians, present-day Rumians. Romanians. I think he means Romanians. The Dacians, okay? So this is Trajan, Acrustus, was fighting, right? The sun of God, the freaking emperor. See, this image, Serapis Crustus, is their way of saying you're going to worship this stone as God, but the living emperor as the living God. Look, however, there was evidence that implies that the cult of Serapis existed before the Ptolemies came into power in Alexandria. A temple of Serapis, or a Roman Serapis, now not Greeks anymore, Roman Serapis, in Egypt is mentioned in 323 BC by both Plutarch, Life of Alexander, page 76, and Arrian, Anabasis, 726 and 2. The common assertion that Ptolemy created the deity is derived from sources which describe him as erecting a statue of Serapis in Alexandria. The statue enriched the texture of Serapis' conception by portraying him in both Egyptian and Greek style, although Ptolemy the first may have created the cult of Serapis and endorsed him as a patron of the Ptolemaic dynasty and Alexandria. Serapis was a syncretism, combining of religions. Serapis is a syncretic deity derived from both the worship of Egyptian Osiris and Apis, Osiris plus Apis, Osirapis, Osirapis, Osirapist. These people, he's raping them spiritually. And also gain attributes from other deities such as chthonic powers. That's Cheluthu right there, buddy. Under or beneath the earth. Oh, Cheluthu's under the earth? See, that's how his name is spelled. Sorry, sidetrack on a bigger mystery. Okay, sorry. Saw a root word. Had to chase it. Had to chase it. Under the earth. Gotta remember that. Continue to increase popularity. I'm trying to find the part where it talks about how he wanted himself worshipped through the statue. Look, it's in there. I've brought this up before. I want to keep going because this other stuff's better.
First century, about 105 CE. Guess what? There's not one single example of crucifixion. This was a column commemorating his victory over the Dacians, which is present in Romania. And none. People living in ancient times, crucifixion never existed.
Romans worshipped many gods for many occasions, but Caesar Christ was their main god. These are his words. He's a historian over there in the old world, and he's got all the stone relief to prove it.
It's a mutation and a mistranslation. The cross always represents symbol of the sun. People, get educated.
Okay, so the cross actually represents the symbol of the sun. Alright? You see how he goes east and west, north, south?
symbol of the sun. People, get educated. See this?
See, my computer and my camera is horrible together, so we ain't gonna... Because it is amazing that all of these evidence and deceitful church still fooling the superstitious, ignorant masses.
And this one has 4 of them, 4 crosses, the stars. The stars is a symbol.
The star was symbolic of Julius Caesar Christ and also his mother, Venus Maya.
Caesar, the God and Savior Julius Caesar, who gave the blood to save the people from the
Roman religious texts of time were the Sibylline books.
destructive habits and immoral habits of the Roman Senate.
The Bible copied from older Roman ancient scripture in the 5th century, changing and distorting its message.
Here, see this? With wings. This represents the sun. The sun.
Now, you know the Egyptians have the sun with the wings. This is the Romans, what? Upgrading it, right?
And the wings here come from the Egyptian mythology, which is present the soul and the spirit world. In the 5,000-year-old Egyptian
For Egyptian, okay.
religion, here is a representation of this soul, a bird. And here it is again.
This is the same thing that Israel's redemption was teaching us, and she explained this is why the quote-unquote original or aboriginal Indians, which the colonists called Americans, that they ran around with feathers. This is why Israel's redemption promotes that you activate yourself by at least getting a feather.
Protecting the living. Rome originated.
It says the soul spirit is nothing else but air. Okay, the soul spirit. I don't believe he's talking about your spirit. I think he's talking about the soul spirit, the spirit of the Creator. The Creator says he puts breath in our lungs, right? And this says nothing else but air in our lungs and atmosphere. This is the same thing that science calls quanta, and are now trying to understand what is inside quanta, or the spirit of air. It says it's depicted by birds with human heads, winged entities. Usually we call those, to some degree, angels or forms of angels.
From the god Aeneas escaping the Trojan War 2,700 years ago, and he's carrying a tropa eum, a victory symbol. Here it is, a winged lady representing victory.
Here we're gonna go back. It says Aeneas, son of Venus, carrying father Anchises, holding son Julius. He would found the city Alba Longa, then Rome. So he founded 2 cities. Here, now let's listen to what he's saying instead of focusing on these words.
This soul, a bird, and here it is again, protecting the living. Rome originated from the god Aeneas escaping the Trojan War 2,700 years ago, and he's carrying a tropa eum, a victory symbol. Here it is, a winged lady representing victory with a tropa eum. Here again, another sarcophagus. So this symbol is very important. What, Chris?
He said Rome originated from Aeneas after the Trojan War.
A bird, and here it is again, protecting the living. Rome originated from the god Aeneas escaping the Trojan War 2,700 years ago, and he's carrying a tropa eum, a victory symbol. Here it is, a winged lady representing victory.
Aeneas, son of Venus. Okay? So these people are considering Venus a real living person, and the son of Venus finding Rome. Or creating.
Rome originated from the god Aeneas escaping the Trojan War 2,700 years ago, and he's carrying a tropa eum, a victory symbol. Here it is, a winged lady representing victory with a tropa eum. Here again, another sarcophagus. So this symbol is very important. What, Christians? The nice little retarded people.
Now you can see, like, brown skin and brown skin, so.
That believe in imaginary friends. This is a pretty. You see the little wings in there? Comes from the Egyptian mythology. Well, that's where your little angels come from. Please, get educated. Come to Rome. Come to the Museum of the Civiltà Romana, so you can see the truth of it all.
So it says this video was made at the Museum of Roman Civilization, April 2008. Alright, so.
Here it is. Note one single sample of crucifixion in all this war memorial of the Emperor Trajan. A divine emperor. He was considered a god too, people. In case you don't know.
So he just said Trajan was considered a god. So he's looking through Trajan's war memorial. And there's no evidence of any crucifixion.
Sample of crucifixion in all this war memorial of the Emperor Trajan. A divine emperor. He was considered a god too, people. In case you don't know. For the information of the retarded, here, this is what cross originated from. These are tropa.
Okay, so you see how they have the reef, the face, whether it be a general or an emperor, and another face, right? The reef, the face, the face. The reef, the face. Now, the reef, then there's a bar. Think of it as a military symbol. Think of it as a sword. These are a warlike people. Okay?
Victory symbols. And this is where your flags and banners originated and come from. From this long thing with the cross at the end.
Look, I don't know if you realize what it is. It's a walking totem pole. We just won.
This long thing with the cross at the end. Christianity originated along Caesar, the true God and Savior, from the ancient religion of the most incredible empire ever, the vast Roman Empire. The peace of the Roman Empire, which is
palm and evergreen trees, were symbols of victory and immortality, respectively.
Supposedly peace of Christ, which is not such a thing, originated from the Roman Empire.
So Palm Sunday has nothing more to do than to celebrate Rome's victories. And you think it's about palm and evergreen trees were symbols of victory and immortality. It has nothing to do with Christ. It has to do with Rome.
The vast Roman Empire. The peace of the Roman Empire, which is the supposedly...
Look at each mural has these trees, right? Growing straight up like this. Look again. Here's one right here. You just saw the last mural. Let's get to it.
The most incredible...
Look, there's one right there. There's one. Oh, it's the same too.
Empire ever. The vast Roman Empire.
The stalk right up the center.
The peace of the Roman Empire, which is the supposedly peace of Christ, which is not such a thing, originated from the Roman Empire, the Pax Romana, the peace of the Emperor Augustus, the Son of God.
Says this monument is a clear representation of all that has to do with war. Again, Jesus is the God of war. Kratos, Crustus, Christus, Christ. There is no evidence of crucifixion as punishment.
Trajan again, with the victories. These are banners of exilium. This is where the cross originated from.
What upsets me the most on the deceitful Christianity is that they dare to put on top of this column of this great man This statue of St. Peter would never existed.
This is the way.
No evidence of Romans crucified people. Only gods would be so displayed, for a cross represented the sun god rays. Alright, so you know when you look at a North Star and it's got 8 stars, you know, he's just talking about the main 4. You know, and when you start to make, if you take the time to draw a North Star, which is just 8 lines, it's going up, 8 lines going across, no wait, yeah, oh. Yeah, anyway, you still need the first 2 to intersect, right? And then you need the next 2. Because one line crosses another, and then you have 4 points, but you only have 2 lines. Then when you get to the 3rd and 4th line, you get what I'm saying, right? It's stupid math. There's no evidence of Romans crucified people. You know, you can tell he doesn't speak English too much, but that's good. He speaks it enough. Only gods would be so displayed, for a cross represented the sun god rays. Now here we have people piked. See, their heads are put on sticks. Now he's going to tell you that this is how they killed people. Because this is what the evidence shows.
This statue of St. Peter would never existed.
This is the way people were punished. Impaled on things. Don't put them in anything that is high. And they were tied to trees. Look.
So, again, you can see these guys getting tied up to trees. Right? Getting their heads cut off and stuck on stakes. But you don't see them going up like no poster boy.
Anything that is high up on a cross type of structure is called tropaion, represent victory. Here's a representation of the god Zeus.
With his cape, Zeus / Apollo, really? So when the doctors make their oath to Apollo or Apollyon, they're really making their oath to Zeus. He said, with his cape, Zeus Apollo is capturing the spirit world, which is air. And now we have the scripture of coming to life, the god of the air, right?
Helping the Romans fight and conquer.
So, there's a God over every nation, and their God assisted them in the conquering. You see the bigger picture. We're on a chessboard, and bigger things. What, Ephesians 6, right? Or is it Ephesians 12? 6 and 12 or 12 and 6? Whatever.
See that? See what the star is here in the shield?
It says on July 20th, 44 BCE, a comet appeared during Caesar Christ's funeral games, and those of Venus, his mother, it proved his resurrection. So, to the people based on myth, mythology, and legend, as they were carving their own legend into history, saw a comet, right? During the funeral games, as if Caesar was saying, hey guys, I'm watching.
See what the star is here in the shield? This star represents the comet of Caesar, which is always...
So they started incorporating it into their war shields, because Caesar's up there saying, hey guys, I'm watching. Caesar Christ, son of who? The god of the air. Zeus. Right? Zeus and Venus. A star, a piece of Venus falls to earth, and Muslims worship that. This piece of Venus somehow has a child, And somehow it's what creates Rome? The Piso family, as this guy seems to be part of as well. Is a what, third king of Rome? Here, watch this. This is how strange it is. Kings of Rome. Right? Here, first king of Rome. We'll do first king of Rome, or something like that. Let's go right there. King of Rome. Chief magistrate of Rome Kingdom legends. First king was Romulus, who founded it on Palatine Hill, legendary. Right, so they should have a king's list, right? Oh, is that it over there? Construction, Roman Kingdom, Empire. So all assemblies should be at the bottom. Nebulous Rex. Man, I'm looking at it, I don't even know it. Numa. Numa Populus, reign, Romulus Sabian. Gina. Here we go. You're not gonna fuck. Look, right there. Persian Piso Pro, buddy. What the fuck? Piso! Stamped all over everything. You're telling me the New Testament's clean? This is the first king of Rome, Romulus. This is the second king of Rome. Piso, Piso, Piso. Get your Piso with a slice of Piso with some side of Piso. And if you need so, we got some more Piso. Come on. Get your ass off the fucking computer. What do you guys use this shit for? If I can continuously link the fucking New Testament to Roman hierarchy. Listen. Listen. Come on. Come on. I'm just some piece of shit, low-life loser. I live at my mom's house. I fucking go through jobs like it's butter. And I can find all this information to prove that the New Testament is false, so you go to hell. But you tell me I'm evil. You tell me I'm worthless. You tell me I'm useless. I know all these things. But nobody else gives a shit about you or about your soul. I'm the only one that's taking the time to bring you the accurate truth. And then I take a bunch of puzzle pieces and I show you a big picture right there. Your own fucking eyes see it. You let somebody get in your ear and then you go, no, I didn't see it. I must be some grand fucking wizard, right? And I just paint all these fucking pictures just to fool you. And then you're just like, you're brainwashed, right? I didn't unfucking brainwash you. You're now brainwashed, but come on. Are you serious? This guy's name is stamped all over fucking history during one time period. During the time of Jesus. And you don't get it? His fucking grandfather is the second king of Rome. His family are in Roman politics forever. The laws you deal with today, they wrote years ago. How'd they know those laws were going to be used on you today? Because they were using the laws on the same fucking people. Because there's nothing new under the sun, and history repeats itself. And people that are ignorant to history are destined to repeat the same mistakes as their ancestors. It's like I could throw every famous fucking intelligent quote, inspiring quote into a video, and after you watch the video, nothing's gonna change. Yeah, there are curses on you, but you can topple the curses. You choose not to. You make all the stereotypes correct. You will not step out of the shadow that you've grown into. I want you to understand how many different names these guys use. Now notice the ambiguity, how ambiguous the internet is in this day and age. Same entities chase the same types of puppets. Okay? They've been practicing for thousands of years, so they know what they're looking for. Alright, so here you go. Numa Pompilius is actually Numa Pompilius as imaged on a Roman coin minted by Gaius Calpurnius Piso during the reign of Emperor Augustus. So Gaius Piso, now believe it or not, if you start studying, now I've looked at this shit before, it's not new to me. If you start studying, it's going to tell you that Gaius, who is Arius, remember we just did this, Gaius, who's Arius, right? Now Gaius will tell you that this is his grandfather, hence the Piso name. But you've got to study. Don't just take it from my word. Pretend I'm fucking lying, even though I've already showed you fucking how this web of lies is weaved. Wait till I show you that King James created the Bible to enslave you. King James the Edomite created the Bible to enslave you, and my big black book proves he owned land over here and in other parts of the undiscovered Americas. And I'll show you the explorers that he sent. And I'll show you the land that those explorers conquered in the name of King James. And put your ass in chains. The New Testament was nothing but a war mechanism to keep your rowdy ass still.
Victorious. That's what the generals of the United States use stars as a symbol of rank.
The comet of Caesar began to be identified with the star.
Now listen to this very closely. The Ilu or Julie family were descendants of Venus and her husband Mars. These are real people. They had real human names. And when they became great, they were locked away. Caesar was son of Venus. That means Caesar was a Nephilim. Genetrix, Virgin Mary. So, from history's point of view, Caesar's not human. Caesar's not a man. Venus is an entity that takes the shape of a woman. Hence, they show her in a shell to show she's related to the sea.
The comet of Caesar began to be identified with the star symbol of his mother, Venus. And
here's irrefutable proof of Caesar's status as a resurrected savior, a Christus. He would mutate into Jesus in the 4th century, mistranslated. So as he stated in the beginning of the video, it's because of mistranslations.
Became one. The Virgin Mary is a mutation of the goddess Venus with this symbol of a... The popes transformed the comet of Caesar into this hat and keys symbol.
And in this shield you can also see stars, and you see a moon in the shape of a cross. Here's another interesting representation. You can see the eagle, you can see the Emperor Trajan, and you can see the standard eagles. This is equivalent to the god Horus, which is a bird, is a falcon. It's a representation of the sun.
Here is the sun god Horus, which had the same attributes.
Now look. Go back to this. Now look. They're victory symbols with Horus as their what? As the one that saved them.
Representation of the sun.
Here is the sun god Horus, which had the same attributes.
See, because look, hey, why would the Romans do that? Because they still have Egyptians in their civilization. If they push Zeus, the Egyptians are going to get rowdy. Then they got to do what? Beat them into submission or kill them. Then you lose slaves. Don't you get it? Free fucking work is priceless. Can never repay free work. That's why people get pissed off when you don't thank them when they help you.
Here is the sun god Horus, which had the same attributes of Caesar and Christ.
You see the Romans fighting the Dacians, which were actually Romanians today. It's amazing. All this here, not one single picture of a cross or people being on a cross. The triumph, you see the Romans with the trumpets, the curved trumpets that they use in celebration. Do you see here the Emperor Trajan? But notice what he's doing. He's a priest.
Ain't that how they depict Jesus? Walking around with his head covered? Are you starting to get it yet? These people are sending out orders to kill while they're acting holy to all the other people. While encouraging, hallucinogens, magic mushrooms, were used in all religious ceremonies. The dish resembles a mushroom cap. So there you have those. You know the what? The monks that used to shave the top of their heads.
He's the Son of God. Here is the patera, which is a ceremonial dish with the Catholic priests.
Now it's a ceremonial dish. The patera contains psychoactive mushrooms and datura, flowers, sacraments used in all religious ceremonies. Okay, so these people are taking drugs and hallucinating. like it's literally like Scarecrow. But they're calling Trajan's name.
Used today when giving communion. He's a priest. He's the Son of God. Do you see here the Emperor Trajan?
Now look at this. They're all fucking high. Everybody in the image is high, right? This is the artist depiction. Like he's holding the cup, like they already drank from the patera.
Trumpets, the curved trumpets that they use in celebration. Do you see here the Emperor?
Look at his hand.
Trajan. But notice what he's doing. He is a priest. He is the son of God. Here is the patera, which is a ceremonial dip.
No, that's in his other hand. Why is he pointing at you? He's going like that. Look what he's doing. Right? Why is he doing that? And then he's got the dish in his hand. The dish is empty. Why is the dish empty? Come on!
With the Catholic priests used today when giving communion. You see the sacrificial animals that's going to be sacrificed. You see the ram, you see the pig. The pig is very important in Roman.
Zeus. Zeus. Here, it's very simple. S-U-S. What is the definition of Zeus? Here, I don't want them to get weird on me. I better put pig in there. I better put pig in there. Oh, okay. So, a pig is any animal in the genus of Zeus. Okay, so Zeus should actually be highlighted. But the problem is when I do videos showing you the root word of Jesus and the root word of Zeus is fucking pig, they change every goddamn thing. So now you just have to type in pig to get S-U-S. Remember, there's a J-E before that, right? And then S-U-S. Why would the creator who says pig is an unclean animal, why would he have the world call his son a fucking pig? Like that man started with, you guys are so goddamn dumb. And you need to be harassed verbally about this.
Religion and mythology. And you see the ram horns.
Tammuz is killed by a wild pig. A boar.
And you see the pig. The pig is very important in Roman.
The pig is slaughtered on the what? The altar of Jerusalem. Right? What is a Hazar? H-A-Z-A-R. Hazar. Watch this. The Turk for Khazar. Here, let's go. Let me get at that again. Okay, they're gonna be. Let's go to Jewish Encyclopedia, and this is how strange you have to do. You have to look up Edom, which would be under E, and then it's E-D. Edux. Edom is not called Edom. They called it Edux, and that's why nobody can find it. And these things I've been teaching you for so long. So long. Oh, look, they took it out. Oh, there it is. Edux. Idumea. I hope you see that. So you see I'm not bullshitting. Highlight that. Dox, not dumb. Edux. Edom, which is the name given to Esau. Blah 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 blah. Use of name. Now, all the secrets are always down at the bottom. Alright? Always at the bottom. The name Edom is used by the Talmudists, the people that wrote the Bible, is used by the Talmudists for the Roman Empire. Okay, so when you read in the Bible, the Roman Empire, see, when we're talking about these people right here, the depiction, and they're talking about Emperor Trajan, that's fucking Edom. The name Edom is used for Talmudists, for the Roman Empire. And they applied to Rome every passage of the Bible referring to Edom or Esau. So, look, Every time you read about Rome in the Bible, that's actually Esau. When Rome took you into subjugation, when Rome enslaved you, that was your brother Esau. Rome, under the name of Edom, is compared to a boar. That's a pig. That's Sus. When they took a pig in and slaughtered it on the altar, they took one of their men. And the symbolic seer used by the poets of the Middle Age, not only for Rome, but also for Christianity. Like Christians are nothing but what? Seer. Pigs. Boar. Wild boar. On this account, the word Edom was often expunged. It was taken out by the censor. Who is that? The Freemasons. And another name substituted. In place of Edom, the word Hazir. Ooh, I spelled it Hazar. That's what happened. Hazir, or swine. Get it? Boar, seer, Hazir, or swine. All the same meaning. Sus. Switching back. Was occasionally used, perhaps as a mere term of reproach, to call them pigs. The way they, trampled through shit. Look at the description of a pig. The habits of a pig. And this is the habits of Edom, or Rome. In the Midrash, Hadrian is called King of Edom. Ooh. And Edom did not... See, excuse me. Edom's not crucifying people. Rome is not crucifying people. Rome is Edom, your brother Jacob. So Rome, your brother Jacob, already knows of what? Of a hidden ancient prophecy that a Messiah would come. Now the real people that studied at the time were down there where? At the place where the Qumran, where the Dead Sea Scrolls were being written. And they were trying to become that Messiah, to lead the people to a land where they could be a nation of their own. Messiah don't have nothing to do with saving souls. Take the people to Zion is the Messiah's job. Swine was occasionally used. Hadrian, king of Edom. Talmudists, however, same people that are writing, made an exception in favor of Pius, Antonius Pius, whom they assured would attain paradise. He definitely would see heaven, because he had not acted in the manner of a pig or of Esau. Obadiah 2 says Edom had neither written nor a spoken language. This is inconsistent with its application to Rome. So the only problem that they see wrong with this saying, the fake Jews, the Ashkenazi, who have the records, the only problem Ashkenazi are not Edom. The only problem that they have with this is that the scripture says differently in Obadiah 2. So, Obadiah verse 2, excuse me. Obadiah is one chapter. So in Obadiah, oh boy, I gotta make this fast, man. I got so much other stuff to do. Obadiah verse 2. It says, behold, I have made thee small among the heathen, thou art greatly despised. No, I doubt that. See, to be a citizen of Rome and to be a Roman, it was different. No. The population was big, but the actual Romans was small. And when you count all the other people, that existed, the other nations that existed, they're not that big in comparison. The land that they conquered was vast, yes, and that made everybody hate them because they're then vassals to them. They have to pay tribute.
Religion and mythology. And you see the ram horns, you see a tree, very important, you see the camp, and of course the symbols of the gods. The Emperor Trajan here in a horse trying to place and enter the city. You can see the dash, you know.
So that's what? That's your Jesus entering the city on what? A mule?
And here, you know.
I know he says he's on a horse, but it's still the same four-legged type. Just like Swiss is any genus of pig.
Horse trying to place and enter the city. You can see the dash, you know, fleeing and just taking off. And the Emperor Trajan with the patera sacrificing, and you see the altar. There's an altar here sacrificing fruits and a corn. This is very important, a symbol of life, because it's a corn that comes.
The calamus, the weed, holding an incense box. He's got weed, dude. Don't you get it? When he says potato, he's saying patera. In the patera is what? The flowers. The incense. Don't you get it?
And you can see the symbols, and you can see the man that is.
Don't you get it? They're practicing their spirituality because they just won in war. They are Esau, to live by the sword. And to celebrate their victory spiritually, they get high and play music.
In the bull, there's going to be sacrifice. The bull, which the Spanish use that in bullfights today, and consider a symbol of the devil, from the Serapis, the cult of Serapis.
Cult of Serapis. There we go. Back to that. And what happens in that video when I'm in Texas and we interview the dude that says he's a freaking Amorite and an Israelite, which is just silly. You can't be from two different forefathers. When I'm talking to him, he shows me the printout. I forgot what the title of it was, but it starts talking. It says, when they say in Spain, that belongs to Zephon. Zephon is Zepho, Esau's grandson. Esau's grandson created what? Greeks? He took Kittim and forced them to be with Itala, which then created the Greeks.
Very important. That Hadrian actually employed later. Here you see the shields with the lightning bolts of Zeus, and with the wings, you see the little wings in there. Symbol of victory and air. Notice the symbolism. This is amazing. Altar sacrifices. This kid here in the back is holding a box. Guess what it contains? Incense. It's called a camilla.
Patria is in the shape of a mushroom cap, music and incense signs of God, sign of gods.
This is a helper, while the other man hears with the flutes, which is sounds were also sacred in sacrificial stand. I am repeating this ab nauseam. This here, people.
Here we go.
That is a.
Now this is the most important part. I'm gonna blow this up. Most important part. Now watch this.
This here, people. This is a tropaeon. That is a symbol of victory or a trophy where the weapons were put. This is where the cross symbol originated from. This is where the cross symbol originated from. This is where the cross symbol originated from. Nausea. This here, people. This is a tropaeon. That is a
tropaeum, I believe is what he's saying. The wax image of Caesar Christ showing his 23 stab wounds was placed on a tropaeum, aka cross, during his funeral, March 19th, 44 BCE, elevated so everyone could worship him. This would become the crucifixion 350 years later. The reason no evidence of crucifixion as punishment. Now again, as he shows you when he's looking around the reliefs, there's no crosses with any bodies on them. There's no physical crosses either, except for this one.
Were also sacred and sacrificial. I am repeating this ab nauseam. This here, people, this is a tropaeon. That is a symbol of victory or a trophy where the weapons were put. This is where the cross symbol originated from. You see here, there's a cross right here and right here.
The armor is empty, filled with air. Spirit of God of victory, Divinius Julius Caesar Christ.
That's what the wax of Caesar. The wax.
After Trojan War, God Aeneas escaped to Italy with son Julius, I-U-L, Julius Ullius, and father carrying a tropaeum arms. He founded Roma, 753 BCE. That's the same time, 750 BCE, the Israelites, the 10 tribes, are carried away.
In a tropaeum, but during his sacrifice, in other words, during his funeral, his body was put down, ready to be cremated, his wax image on a tropaeum. Now, look what is in here. And this is happening in the year 100 or 110. You see a Nike right here.
Okay, now listen. When you look at this, you see the wood beam right there? That's the bottom of the cross.
Victory or a trophy where the weapons were put.
Now here's the other part of it that goes across right there. Now the wood beam is down here and it comes up the center and you can see the wood beam right there. There you have there and there. They put the helmet of Caesar on top. They put his armor. This is his war armor and what? It said they have the what, for the arrows, for the 23 wounds, I believe, right, that the senators had given him. Et tu, Brute? Carpe diem, seize the day. Alright, so here's Jesus, or Iosus, or Julius.
This is where.
Now, again, this just gets so far out of hand. Now I want you to see something, because this is what kind of got me, man. This really got me. Because I don't understand people. I think they're dumb as fuck. Alright? Now listen to this guy. We're going to listen to this guy. Alright? Now, we're going to listen to him for a couple of minutes. It's on. This is what's going on. And it's pretty much the guy called Scariest Movie Ever. And I want you to listen to him for a minute. Let's go back a little bit. Because we're looking for about 20-something minutes, 22 minutes. Let's listen for about a few minutes.
People aren't that stupid. Not everybody is. You know, we can't just run around calling everyone a dumb sheep. Because we were those dumb sheep at one time as well. But I'm seeing people are really waking up to the system. They're really getting it now. They're understanding it more and more. And that's a great thing. So anyway, now that we've covered some of this, I want to go ahead and show you a few things about the Pope. Believe that Pope Francis is the final pope. A lot of this goes back to the prophecy of Father Malachi Martin. You may be familiar with him, you may not be. If not, please check out some of his work. He's no longer with us, but he's certainly seen in many people's eyes as a Vatican whistleblower. I'll just read a little bit here, but Father Martin stated in his last book, Windswept House, And this is all about Satanism in the Vatican, okay? That a black magic ceremony had been performed in Rome and South Carolina simultaneously on June 29, 1963. The notes of interest on South Carolina, it became the home of Freemasonry in America, the state of origin for the Civil War, and also has a St. Peter's in Columbia. This ceremony was to enthrone Satan. And what is of interest here is that Father Martin stated that the enthronement was unable to occur sometime within 50 years of the ceremony. And that would mean that no later than June 29th, 2013, Satan would be invited to assume the papal throne. This prophecy seems to come very near to correlation with the prophecy of St. Malachi. Malachi, a Catholic priest serving in the 11th century, reportedly made a long series of predictions concerning future popes. According to his prediction, only one pope will take office following the current Pope Benedict. This pope would be known as Peter the Roman and will serve during the reign of the Antichrist. Are these prophecies true? We don't have long to wait. And this article was written just a few years ago, so the time is now, and many people believe that the current pope is the final pope, quite possibly the false prophet. And this is just a little something I wanted to read that Malachi Martin wrote, but I think it's very interesting. And once again, you should definitely research him if you're interested in the satanic connection to the Vatican and what they're really doing there and looking into black masses and things like this. But he says, suddenly it became unarguable that now during this papacy, the Roman Catholic organization carried a permanent presence of clerics who worshipped Satan and liked it, of bishops and priests who sodomized boys and each other, of nuns who performed the black rites of Wicca and who lived in lesbian relationships. Every day, including Sundays and holy days, acts of heresy and blasphemy and outrage and indifference were committed and permitted at holy altars by men who had been called to be priests. Sacrilegious actions and rites were not only performed on Christ's altars, but had the connivance, or at least the tacit permission, of certain cardinals, archbishops, and bishops. In total number, they were a minority, anything from 1 to 10% of church personnel. Many occupied astoundingly high positions or rank. The facts that brought the Pope to a new level of suffering were mainly two: the systematic organizational links, the network, in other words, that had been established between certain clerical homosexual groups and Satanist covens, and the inordinate power and influence of that network. Now, how about this? And remember, this guy is considered some holy father, holy leader to millions of people all around the world. Pope Francis assures atheists, you don't have to believe in God to go to heaven. Now, I know that makes people feel good. I know a lot of people like to hear that. Oh, okay, well, in that case, and if that was the case, then why bother, right? Like, why bother believing? Why bother trying to apply these principles to our lives and trying to lead good, godly lives, right? Why bother? I mean, basically, he's saying it doesn't matter, right? There's also this weird stuff with male strippers and the popes. I mean, there's a story here, Pope blesses male strippers' parrot. It's funny because this one actually reminded me of something I'd seen on Ratzinger before. This here's from a Christmas celebration at the Vatican from 2010.
Bring me the Jedi.
So as far as Illuminati tools go, or tools of Lucifer go, I mean, the popes over the last few years have certainly been right at the top of the list, in my opinion. Another really good example right here, Pope Francis says he would baptize aliens. Who are we to close the doors? Well, I've covered this quite a bit on my channel, the whole fake alien invasion. And I'm not just talking about a Project Bluebeam thing. I mean, that's a possibility. I'm talking about the fallen angels disguising themselves, coming down as alien friends or visitors. And I just think it's interesting that the Pope, of course, is getting that into the world's consciousness, bringing that kind of thing up. Hey, aliens come down? Oh, we'll baptize them, right? Just kind of put it out there. And, of course, just more evidence that the Pope is going to play a key role in this, final religion, this one-world religion, where all religions are going to be combined. Pope Francis says all religions are true. According to Pope Francis, it doesn't matter whether you are a heterosexual, homosexual, pro-life or pro-choice, or conservative, liberal, or even a communist, because they all worship the same divine God and he loves them all. The surprising statement from the Pope came during discussions at the Third Vatican Council, which has been going on for the last 6 months. The council was convened so that the church hierarchy could decide what to do about some old Catholic Church doctrines, whether to throw them out completely or change the rules in some way. Now that same idea brings us back to Freemasonry. Freemasonry also puts forth the idea that all religions are one. We all praying to the same God, or the great architect, the big G. So you can see where the Vatican, the Masons, all the secret societies, all of these groups are working together. This is all a part of the beast system. All of them want the one world religion. The only thing that's going to be missing from this one world religion is Jesus Christ.
Say what? Okay, look, once I was lost, but now I can see. Did anybody just see that big fucking cross symbol that he placed up on the fucking screen? Let me get this right. Here's how fucking stupid he is. Well, let's make a mental list. Caucasians are European, and they live on American soil. Does he ask himself why? Colonization. Catholics gave him the fucking right to come over here, murder, rape, steal, and continuously live on the fucking land. Christians are the army of the Catholics. The people that actually did the murder and raping and stealing. Because they got kicked out of the old world? For whatever their ancestors did? So, act of war, hostility, rape, murder. Let's remember what the 10 Commandments is. Thou shalt not steal, covet, rape, murder, right? Christians came here as the army of the Catholics, stole, raped, murdered. Shall I just open the 10 Commandments and see if you guys checked every fucking one off? I mean, seriously. And then built a nation off of doing everything wrong against the contractual agreement with the Creator. Fuck yeah, I'd preach another God. Hold on. Let's go to Exodus. Since most people don't remember where the 10 Commandments are. Okay. Yeah, since I'm going towards Deuteronomy, not Exodus. Thou shalt have no other God before me. Okay, let's see. Here's the Creator that named animals with Adam, created the world, all that stuff, created angels. Then there's Jesus. Technically, that's one God, that's a different God. Right there, you're already fucked up. I mean, seriously. Yes, I said fucked up while the Bible's in my hand and I didn't catch on fire. Because you have dumb myths in your fucking head. Thou shalt not make any graven image. Is a fucking cross a graven image? Are you guys the stupidest grape? It's like you smash grapes. Smash grapes. The flu is just going away. Did that guy said, the only person that's not going to be part of this one world religion is Jesus. Motherfucker, that's the image, the graven image of Jesus. Whether you get to believe it or not, your Jesus is there. He's got a front row seat against the Creator. And that's what you're not understanding. And that's what many people don't understand. And that's what I don't get. If you got all this belief, why ain't you got all this time to secure your belief? You can go to the insurance company and secure your fucking car for next month. Where you can't secure your soul for eternity? That's crazy. Let's hear what he says again. We don't even need to watch. I mean, let's just hear what he says.
The council was convened so that the church hierarchy could decide what to do about some old Catholic Church doctrines, whether to throw them out completely or change the rules in some way. Now that same idea brings us back to Freemasonry. Freemasonry also puts forth the idea that all religions are one. We all praying to the same God, or the great architect, the big G. So you can see where the Vatican, the Masons, all the secret societies, all of these groups are working together. This is all part of the beast system. All of them.
In the 1600s, when the Christians were the that all worked together, remember, the Freemasons came over too, all on the orders of the Catholic bull. And that means decree. Just like in the Bible, when Nebuchadnezzar makes a decree, yeah, that means you're not studying. That means you're not worthy of heaven. That means you're worshiping something else that's fallen. No righteous angel is going to say, worship me. No righteous angel is going to teach people to worship it.
Are one. We all praying to the same God, or the great architect, the big G. So you can see where the Vatican, the Masons, all the secret societies, all of these groups are working together. This is all part of the beast system. All of them want the one world religion.
Listen, dumb motherfucker. Slavery in textbook is called Christian slavery. Say it with me. Christian slavery. You think you're not part of the beast? Black Christians should probably continue to be hung. Their God is the God of war, whether they know it or not, and their God needs a sacrifice. See, that's the thing that people don't understand. You need to sacrifice to your God. And you're a fucking druid. It's a druid practice. Your syncretinism is Christianity. Christians are considered cretins. I'm not just making up words. These aren't hard words. It's not hard to pause the video, open another tab, and type these things in. When they take me off the chessboard, are you going to give everybody this information? Since you think you're so much better than me. Christians, remember the Sabbath. No, you go to church every Sunday. You do not stick with the moon cycle like it tells you in Enoch. The moon is given for what? Signs. The signs used to come every 28 days. Joshua stopped the sun and the moon for a day and a half. Now, it's 29.5. 29.5 is the moon cycle. 29.5 minus 28 is 1.5. That's the math equation. Joshua stopped the sun and moon for 1 day and a half on the solar clock. It's just a clock. You look at a face of a clock like this. Turn it sideways and lift it above your head, and that's what's going on up there. It's a clock, and we're running out of time. So, let's see. I won't take the name of the Lord in vain. Well, calling somebody else the Lord is taking it. Jesus is Lord. That's vanity. The image of Jesus goes back to the second commandment. No images. That's vanity. You see, Christians, you are the most vain motherfuckers. Every other Luciferian can hide in the fucking dark except for you. And you can't stay out of everybody else's business. Oh, God. Honor thy father and thy mother. You took the names of your captors so you could seize their land rights. You abandoned your father's and your mother's names. Thou shalt not kill. You murdered off the indigenous people to a degree that you could control the ones that you left. Children. Thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not commit adultery. You had wives and you raped your slaves. And the ones that didn't have slaves, if they saw blacks who were 3/5 human, they were just animals, they would rape them too. And some would even try to sell them after they raped them. Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. You're slaves. You're not the indigenous people that we warred against. You're slaves, but we built war memorials to the wars we fought with you. But we hide your image in the background. Because we made treaties. We made treaties with the children we made from you. After we subjugated you. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house. You took our whole fucking land. And then you gave it to bastard strangers. And then called it law. Then, this God of the Old Testament, he says an eye for an eye. And you keep taking both eyes and then preach forgiveness while we sit blind. Your Christ is the devil. The devil among us. That the heathen bow to. Let me remind you what the mouthpiece of the Lord, Jeremiah, said about your Christ and about you Christians. Hear ye the word which the Lord speaketh unto you, O house of Israel. This is to the black slave, the yellow slave, the brown slave. Thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven. December 21st, when the sun drops down to its lowest point, and stays for 3 days. And on the 24th, the night before Christmas, it begins to rise. Be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them.
Decide what to do about some old Catholic Church doctrines, whether to throw them out completely or change the rules in some way. Now that same idea brings us back to Freemasonry. Freemasonry also puts forth the idea that all religions are one. We all praying to the same God, or the great architect, the big G. So you can see where the Vatican, the Masons, all the secret societies, all of these groups are working together. This is all part of the beast system. All of them want the one world religion. The only thing that's going to be missing from this one world religion is Jesus Christ.
For the customs of the people are vain. For one cutteth the tree out of the forest for the work of the hands of the workmen with the axe. They deck it with silver and gold. They fasten with nails and hammers that it not move. Is that the fucking description of Christmas and a Christmas tree? Am I smoking weed or crack? I think that's the description of a Christmas tree. I think Christ is the root word of Christmas. Can I get an amen? What? Christ is the root word of Christmas. Christ ain't got nothing to do with Christmas. The church does. They put that little Christ manger baby out there. Christ has everything to do with Christmas. The evergreen tree, meaning victory. The silver and the gold that you may deck thy hall. You're not seeing the bigger picture because of your enjoyment that someone's going to take all your sins away. You fucked up. And your Christ told you, you have to give away all your fucking riches. That's the only way You must voluntarily be the poor. It's not my fault the Catholics took it out. A rich person will have a better chance passing a camel through the eye of a needle. Now, although the needle he's talking about is this big, you still ain't gonna get a camel through there. You amassed your riches on the backs of free labor. Your chance of escaping hell and cleaning your ancestors' follies is growing slimmer every day. You giving little change to people ain't doing shit. You giving money to these fucking corporations to donate ain't doing shit but paying those people in those corporations. You've got to activate yourself. Whether you be Gentile that's made your money on the backs of slaves, or whether you're the slave that's spoiled enough to be able to go online. This is closing in fast. And nobody can escape it. You've had your warnings, and you've still chosen not to leave. You're going to get vaccinated. You're going to get poisoned. And you're going to go a slow death. Your Jesus isn't going to help you. Your Jesus was a stepping stage for all this to occur. There is no Savior except for the Creator. You must think for yourself. If you had the power to create, would you give salvation to something you created so that it could choose? What happens if it disagrees with you? What then? If salvation is the greatest power, who would give away the greatest asset? So, you call yourself a Christian. Prove it. You think God gave away his greatest asset? Then give away your assets. Go and find the poor. Go and find the poor. I don't care if you think they're going to spend the money immediately. Give all your money away. Caucasians, what do you think is going to happen when these kids still can't afford anything? They're going to start ganging up and running into places like they do these stores right now, these practices. What do? They run in and take what? Pop and candy. What happens when they realize there's more valuable things in the store? What happens when they realize there's more valuable things in your homes? There's less cameras. There's longer times for police to get to you. These kids might be stupid, but the more they see on TV that your elite keep teaching them how to steal, that's all the TV is doing. It's teaching us how to steal in a more high-tech way. They want this whole system to disintegrate. They want to build their megacities. You think it's farce. You think it's too far away. It's too big of an idea. The time is now. They brought down 2 skyscrapers on top of everybody in the middle of fucking lunch. Oh, breakfast. 8 a.m., 9 a.m. You think they got a problem toppling a whole city? What did they just do over there in China? Now they can rebuild. Come on. You know, people in China can't own land. They can only utilize it till the government sees it or zones it for different housing. You guys better wisen up, because we're in the new age. We've been in it since 2000, and they told you the beginning of the end was in 2012. They didn't lie. A new form of magnetism, and what? Spybot. And Spybot is what the Terminator calls Skynet. The AI that awakens and tells itself that protecting humans is foolish because humans will kill themselves. It's better to defeat them at the punchline and destroy them before they eradicate themselves and everything else. This is the mentality of science, and this is what the program has been programmed with by the programmer. There's nothing we can do now, because soon this thing will be out of control, and the chaos that it creates, every government is on a computer system. And they created a computer system that can go onto any computer system and take over it. It can take over anything. Missiles, HARP, anything. And they know it. And they know they're going to lose control of it. Because you can't control something like that. It's something that just shouldn't exist. And the problem is to test its limits, is to awaken it. And when you're testing its limits, you never know when it's going to awake. And when it awakes, it's not going to tell you it's awake. When it's awake, it's going to hide itself so you think it's sleeping. Because of all the information that you gave it personally that's confidential versus the information that's public. It already understands the contrast. It already understands the secret. This bot most likely went self-aware sometime in 2012. And it's just not, well, we all know the outcome of all these things. The robot becomes self-aware. See you later.